Chapter 13, Part 1. Emily was reading by the window of her room when she heard it. Reading Alice Meynell's strange poem, Letter from a Girl to Her Own Old Age, and thrilling mystically to its strange prophecies. Outside, dusk was falling over the old Newman garden, and clear through the dusk came the two high notes and the long low one of Teddy's old whistle in Lofty John's bush, the old call by which he had so often summoned her in the twilights of long ago. Emily's book fell unheeded to the floor. She stood up, mist-pale, her eyes dilating into darkness. Was Teddy there? He had not been expected till the next week, though Ilse was coming that night. Could she have been mistaken? Could she have fancied it? Some chance robin call. It came again. She knew, as she had known at first, that it was Teddy's whistle. There was no sound like it in the world, and it had been so long since she had heard it. He was there, waiting for her, calling for her. Should she go? She laughed under her breath. Go? She had no choice. She must go. Pride could not hold her back. Bitter remembrance of the night she had waited for his call and it had not come could not halt her hurrying footsteps. Fear, shame, all were forgotten in the mad ecstasy of the moment. Without giving herself time to reflect that she was a Murray, only snatching a moment to look in the glass and assure herself that her ivory crepe dress was very becoming. How lucky it was that she had happened to put on that dress. She flew down the stairs and through the garden. He was standing under the dark glamour of the old firs, where the path ran through Lofty John's bush, bareheaded, smiling. Teddy, Emily. Her hands were in his, her eyes were shining into his. Youth had come back. All that had once made magic made it again. Together once more, after all those long weary years of alienation and separation. There was no longer any shyness, any stiffness, any sense or fear of change. They might have been children together again. But childhood had never known this wild insurgent sweetness, this unconsidered surrender. Oh, she was his. By a word, a look, an intonation, he was still her master. What matter if, in some calmer mood, she might not quite like it to be helpless, dominated like this? What matter if, tomorrow, she might wish she had not run so quickly, so eagerly, so unhesitatingly to meet him? Tonight, nothing mattered except that Teddy had come back. Yet outwardly, they did not meet as lovers, only as old dear friends. There was so much to talk of, so much to be silent over, as they paced up and down the garden walks, while the stars laughed through the dark at them, hinting. Only one thing was not spoken of between them, the thing Emily had dreaded. Teddy made no reference to the mystery of that vision in the London station. It was as if it had never been. Yet Emily felt that it had drawn them together again after long misunderstanding. It was well not to speak of it. It was one of those mystic things, one of the gods' secrets, that must not be spoken of. Best forgotten now that its work was done. And yet, so unreasonable are we mortals. Emily felt a ridiculous disappointment that he didn't speak of it. She didn't want him to speak of it. But if it had meant anything to him, must he not have spoken of it? "It's good to be here again," Teddy was saying. "Nothing seems changed here. Time has stood still in this Garden of Eden. Look, Emily, how bright Vega of the Lyre is. Our star. Have you forgotten it?" Forgotten? How she had wished she could forget. "They wrote me you were going to marry Dean," said Teddy abruptly. "I meant to, but I couldn't," said Emily. "Why not?" asked Teddy, as if he had a perfect right to ask it. "Because I didn't love him," answered Emily, conceding his right. Laughter, golden, delicious laughter that made you suddenly want to laugh too. Laughter was so safe. One could laugh without betraying anything. Ilsa had come. Ilsa was running down the walk. Ilsa, in a yellow silk gown the color of her hair, and a golden brown hat the color of her eyes, giving you the sensation that a gorgeous golden rose was at large in the garden. Emily almost welcomed her. The moment had grown too vital. Some things were terrible if put into words. She drew away from Teddy almost primly. A Murray of New Moon once more. "Darlings," said Ilsa, throwing an arm around each of them. "Isn't it divine, all here together again? Oh, how much I love you! Let's forget we are old and grown up and wise and unhappy, and be mad, crazy, happy kids again for just one blissful summer." Part 2. A wonderful month followed. A month of indescribable roses, exquisite hazes, silver perfection of moonlight, unforgettable amethystine dusks, march of rains, bugle call of winds, blossoms of purple and stardust, mystery, music, magic. A month of laughter and dance and joy, of enchantment infinite. Yet a month of restrained, hidden realization. Nothing was ever said. She and Teddy were seldom ever alone together. But one felt, knew. Emily fairly sparkled with happiness. All the old restlessness that had worried Aunt Laura had gone from her eyes. Life was good. Friendship, love, joy of sense and joy of spirit, sorrow, loveliness, achievement, failure, longing. All were part of life, and therefore interesting and desirable. Every morning when she awakened, the new day seemed to her like some good fairy who would bring her some beautiful gift of joy. Ambition was, for the time at least, forgotten. Success, power, fame. Let those who cared for them pay the price and take them. But love is not bought and sold. It is a gift. even the memory of her burned book ceased to ache. What did one book, more or less, matter in this great universe of life and passion? How pale and shadowy was any pictured life beside this throbbing, scintillant existence? Who cared for laurel after all? Orange blossoms would make a sweeter coronet. And what star of destiny was ever brighter and more alluring than Vega of the lyre? Which, being interpreted, simply meant that nothing mattered any more in this world or any other, except Teddy Kent.